the invention that solved a problem and created a disaster. In the early 20th century, the modern world was racing forward faster than its technology could safely handle. Automobiles were becoming common, engines were growing more powerful, and cities were filling with machines that promised speed, freedom, and progress. But there was one stubborn problem engineers could not solve: engine knocking. That problem would lead to an invention hailed as a miracle of modern science, and later to one of the greatest public health disasters in human history. A mechanical problem holding back progress. By the 1910s, gasoline engines suffered from a flaw called knock. Fuel ignited unevenly inside the engine, producing violent vibrations that damaged parts and reduced power. Knock limited engine efficiency. It limited speed. It limited the future of automobiles. Car manufacturers were desperate for a solution. At General Motors, engineer Thomas Midgley Jr. was assigned the task. Midgley was not a villain. He was a skilled chemist, respected in his field, working under intense pressure to deliver results. After testing hundreds of substances, Midgley discovered something remarkable. A small amount of tetraethyl lead added to gasoline completely eliminated engine knock. The solution worked instantly. Engines ran smoother, fuel efficiency improved, power increased. In 1921, the problem that had slowed automotive progress seemed finally solved. A dangerous choice ignored warnings. Lead was already known to be toxic. Ancient Romans had recorded its dangers. Doctors in the 19th century understood lead poisoning well, but industry leaders dismissed concerns. Midgley and General Motors partnered with Standard Oil to mass-produce leaded gasoline. To avoid public fear, they did not emphasize the word lead. Instead, they branded it ethyl, making it sound clean, modern, and scientific. Public warnings were minimal. Government regulation was weak. Profit moved faster than caution. When workers at lead gasoline plants began dying from hallucinations, seizures, and organ failure, executives blamed poor handling, not the product itself. Midgley himself suffered lead poisoning during development, yet continued to promote the fuel. In 1924, leaded gasoline went on sale nationwide in the United States. The spread of an invisible poison. Over the next decades, automobiles exploded in number. Every car burning leaded gasoline released microscopic lead particles into the air. These particles settled everywhere: in soil, on crops, in homes, in children's lungs. Unlike smoke, lead had no smell. Unlike disease, it spread silently. Cities became toxic environments. Children were especially vulnerable. Lead interferes with brain development, reducing intelligence, increasing aggression, and causing lifelong neurological damage. No one noticed immediately. The damage was slow, cumulative, invisible. By the 1950s, lead contamination had reached every corner of industrial society. Blood lead levels worldwide skyrocketed, yet the fuel industry insisted the product was safe. The evidence that could no longer be ignored. In the 1960s and 1970s, scientists began connecting the dots. Public health researchers found alarming patterns. Lower IQ scores in children living near highways. Higher crime rates correlated with lead exposure. Widespread contamination of soil and water. Geochemist Claire Cameron Patterson delivered the most devastating evidence. While trying to date the age of Earth, he discovered something shocking. Modern humans carried hundreds of times more lead in their bodies than ancient humans had. The source was clear: leaded gasoline. Patterson faced intense industry opposition. Oil companies attempted to discredit him. Funding was threatened. Pressure mounted. But the data was undeniable. The slow undoing of a global mistake. In the 1970s and 1980s, governments finally acted. The United States began phasing out leaded gasoline in 1975. Other countries followed over the next decades. The process was slow, politically contested, and resisted by industry. But the results were dramatic. As leaded gasoline disappeared, average IQ scores rose. Violent crime declined, blood lead levels dropped by over 80%. One invention had quietly poisoned generations, and its removal quietly healed them. By the early 21st century, leaded gasoline was banned almost worldwide. A lesson written in chemistry and silence. Leaded gasoline solved a real problem. It made engines better. It accelerated modern transportation. But it also revealed a dangerous truth about progress. The invention was not evil. The intention was not malicious. The disaster came from speed without caution, profit without responsibility, and technology without long-term thinking. Thomas Midgley Jr. would later invent another product meant to improve life, CFC refrigerants, which helped cause ozone depletion. Two solutions, two disasters. History remembers this invention not as a triumph of engineering, but as a warning. Because sometimes, the most dangerous inventions are not weapons. They are solutions that work too well before we understand their cost.